Good morning. Today is Sunday, it's July now. Sunday, July 2nd, 2023. We're going to look at the Bitcoin price forecast and see where we came from and where we could potentially go in the next week. So, this week I'm going to start on the logarithmic chart. I haven't done that in a while, just taking a look at Bitcoin on another scale. So right now we're on a logarithmic. If I go to regular, that's a little bit more familiar. That's what people are used to seeing. But since Bitcoin moves exponentially in price, sometimes it's good to look at it on a logarithmic scale because it's logarithms are the opposite of exponents, I think, something like that. I don't know. I haven't taken a math class in a while. But anyway, so if we look at this, let's take a trend line here and we'll create a channel. So we're on the logarithmic chart right now, and we have created this parallel channel. And if we take a look at it, this is going all the way back to 2011, 2012. So we started coming down here. We came up and smacked the top of this it was at the time the all-time high. Came to an all-time high, and then we've just been riding this channel ever since. Like we finally have hit the bottom of this channel right here. So like we're at a very kind of pivotal moment that I believe is going to cause us to go back up, and in a big way. My prediction from the beginning of the year, well, not the beginning of the year, whenever I made my initial prediction was about 250,000, which kind of corresponds to the top of this channel right here. If we can get there again. But there are a lot of factors saying that we could potentially have a very big move in Bitcoin over the next couple of years. So 2023 to 2025 should be a very interesting time for the overall history of Bitcoin for sure. But anyway, like I said, you got your 50 moving average, your 100 moving average, and this is what we call a confluence, right? You're hitting the bottom of a channel, and you're also hitting the bottom of this moving average. So that's another indication that you could go up to the upside. So we'll take a look back at the regular chart. I'll delete this channel. So kind of looking at what happened last week, right? Really, since we're still on the monthly chart, let's talk about that. So I'll draw a horizontal line here. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, so we'll say that's at 30,000. Okay, so 30,000, that's a very key level. I talked about this last week as something that is potentially important for this week. So again, we've seen that we've come up and we breached 30,000 for the first time back in 2021. And then we came back down again, and we tried to break it 3 times, like 1, 2, 3. Couldn't do it for 3 months straight. We couldn't break 30,000. Rocketed back up for a while, and then we hit an all-time high somewhere around 68,000. And then we came back down, blew through. We see we had some type of hesitation once we started getting in the low 30s. So we did actually come up, which adds a little bit more legitimacy to this level. And then we came down and we blew through, and this started the bear market and all that, and we just continued to go down for a while. Now we've come back up, and it looks like in March we tried to test 30,000, couldn't do it. April tried to test 30,000. We actually breached it for a while, but couldn't blow through it, and we ended up closing down here. May, we ended up going back down, and we tried to test 30,000 again, couldn't do it, but something happened in June. So in June, for the first time, we actually closed above 30,000. And you might look at this candle and say, oh my God, that's not that much, but it's very significant for a close to happen above that channel. So it's a very good sign moving forward, especially considering that we had an engulfing candle on the month. So like this, basically when I say engulfing, we have this white candle that went down in May, and the entire body of this candle has come up and basically covered the candle. So June was a very strong month. We had a very strong close to the month above 30,000. So I'm definitely excited to see where that could go. Let's go down to the weekly. On the weekly chart, and I'll hide some of these drawings. We did nothing last week. There was a lot that actually happened, like news-wise. You had options expiring at the end of the month. This is the end of the quarter, halfway point of the year, end of the week. So there were, a lot of things that happened by Friday. Friday was June 30th. One of the big things was that you had options expiring on Friday, and I think those were valued. Bitcoin options were valued at like $4.6 billion. So it could have been a landslide. They call it like a gamma squeeze, right? To where you go to, if price starts moving this way, it could move very rapidly to the upside, or if it moves down, it could move very rapidly to the downside. But we ended up just staying kind of right here. the options expired right at about 31,000, which was like the key level that they were talking about. So yeah, that happened. We ended up having the news that Michael Saylor bought like 12.3 billion. I'm sorry, no, 12,300 Bitcoin. Somewhere around there. He bought a ton of Bitcoin this week, and that was news. But if you look at the week overall, it just looks like we did nothing. There was a lot of up and down. We can see that on the daily chart, a lot of up and down here, but never actually picking a direction to like where you had an upswing here. There was none of that. It was just a lot of, ranging for the entire week. What else do we want to talk about? Going down to the, daily chart, like I said, we ranged 4-hour charts. Nothing really. Like, again, it's a lot of the same right here. So like, I think this is Friday the 23rd. Let's put these drawings back on. That was my prediction for last week. Friday the 23rd. Yeah. So basically my prediction for last week was that we were going to go up, potentially come back down, retest 30,000, somewhere in that range, and then shoot off. Or we could potentially go down to about 28,800. And then do another rocket off and then go up. So again, like I said, we didn't really do anything. And when I make these predictions, I'm not saying that we're going to go to 37,000 like right in that week. But this is the general direction that we are headed based on what I'm seeing on the charts. Taking a look at it here, there were a couple. These are 4-hour candles. So Tuesday morning, this is the SEC candle. Yeah, so again, we ranged all week. We broke 31,000 for a little bit. Let's do. Yeah, actually, we got above 31,000. We never had a close above 31,000, or maybe we did. Yeah, somewhere right around 30,000. 31,000 we closed. Then on Friday, the SEC came in and said that the ETF filings, which is very big news right now, these ETF filings that BlackRock and Fidelity and ARK Capital and Three Arrows Capital, all these huge hedge funds, that the paperwork was pretty much inaccurate or inadequate, I should say. So that was this candle right here where we came down very rapidly. So like even if you look at it on like the 5-minute chart, this happened over a very short period of time. What was that? This Saturday. It's going to be very obvious when it comes over here. Yeah, this one right here. So these are 5-minute candles. So this huge drop happened in a matter of 5 minutes. So you had, we're up here, we're chilling at 31,000. Like, life is good. We're above the moving averages. And then the news comes out very early, right around the same time that the options expired, that, the SEC found the paperwork that the ETF filings were negative. And yeah, this all happened in like a 15-minute time span. So it's very interesting. But with that, if you take a look at it, we actually recovered very rapidly. That's in June. We recovered very rapidly. So we came down here. We touched 30,000 again. I'm telling you, 30,000 is a very key level. We touched 30,000. And we could not close below it. And we tried it again for another hour to close below it and another hour to close below it. And we attempted again for a 4th hour to close below it, but we couldn't. And then, it just rebounded right back up to about 30,500. So this actually is very optimistic for me. We proved even on the 1-hour chart that we can close above the moving averages. And that we can rebound. It's a very bullish sign, in my opinion. And it proves that 30,000 has somewhat flipped to it's gone from being resistance to now being support. So, that's something that you'll see from time to time, to where this is a very strong area that it rejects off of. So, you even see it here. Rejection, all the way through. And then it did it again, even on this super bearish news that the SEC didn't find the paperwork adequate. It still rebounded, and they came back very quickly, to their credit, and basically said that the paperwork for the most part was good for the ETF filings, except they just needed to name who their surveillance person was going to be, and I think that ended up being Coinbase. So very good news for Coinbase as well. Matter of fact, let's look at what their stock did. Coinbase Global. Yeah, so if you look at it, Coinbase has been on somewhat of a tear lately. So they went from $46 in. This is a 1-hour chart. Let's look at the daily chart. They've been in a range for the most part, but for over the past couple weeks, they've been very bullish, even despite them being in the news with the SEC and all that type of stuff too. They've proven that they can stay resilient. They got above the moving averages. That's good. Strong closes there. But just something to look at. And this is actually a pretty bullish rejection, in my opinion, on Friday. Coming down to whatever this level was and then bouncing off of that way. But anyway, back to Bitcoin. That's the purpose here, right? Bitcoin. Okay, so let's move on to the prediction for the rest of the week, where I think we could go from here. So obviously we ranged all this week. We can go ahead and delete these scenarios. Really, I think we're kind of in the same spot, and actually we're in a better spot. We're in a better spot than we were last week, in the sense that every day that goes by, it gets you closer and closer to the bull market. I believe we're actually in the bull market right now, but we're in the very early stages where most people haven't, we haven't hit that fever pitch yet, where everyone's piling in to, throw their money. So you want to be in position now, so that you have your money, so that when people do come in, they're pumping up your bags that you already have, right? Making sure that you're getting yourself in the best position to do whatever you need to do with your money. So let's take a look at where I think we could go. It's really going to be the same pretty much prediction as last week. Based on what I've seen so far, I believe that this 30,000 level is very key. I think we could try to test it a couple more times and then we could come up here. I didn't want to do that. I'm still saying that we're going to get up to 37,000 in relatively short order. Like if you look at the history of Bitcoin price, like in general, July is a positive month. It's not a huge month as historically speaking. Like you'll probably get like about an 8% rise on average out of July. I want to say like November is the best month if you look at historical price action, but I'll have to get a chart of that at some point. I saw it the other day. But anyway, you can expect somewhat of about like an 8% rise on average, but some months could be higher, some months could be lower. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Let's take a look here. Yeah, so I'm saying we could do this. The other area that I think we could come down to is, again, right around here. So really my prediction from last week is the same as this one. We could come right around down to, I'll say 28,000. The very bottom of this right here. Range for a little bit. If we do come down here, I think we will range for just a second. And then we'll come back up. Yeah, we'll come back up at a certain point and then we'll be fine. But overall, I have not had I have no reason to believe that things are bearish right now. There's a lot of good news coming out every single day about Bitcoin. I think it's about to be an exciting time. We're in a new month. We're in a month that closed high. So yeah, no, I'm definitely excited to see what we could do in the coming months here. So definitely everyone have a good trading week. Stay cool. It's 4th of July weekend. So yeah, take care. I'll see you next week.